Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for dropping by. This is a create video. I figured I wanted to make a bunch of ephemera, but I actually don't have the journal for it to go in, so I figured I'm going to start with making the journal, and this will be a kind of little artsy, mixed media kind of journal-y type cover. I figured I was going to paint it and use some packaging that I had got through Amazon, because you know everybody's got packaging from Amazon if you're ordering from Amazon. But anyway, so so that's what this little video is going to be on creating a journal cover for start. So this will be a journal. This will be the first video of this little series that I'm going to do. So welcome and come join me. Let's create. So yeah, this is some gesso. This here is some heavy gesso, heavy body gesso. I've had this for a while, and I don't even know if I've ever opened it, honestly. Yeah, I have, but it's still full, as you can see, just not very much use. So I'm going to use that for the stenciling. I just grabbed some paints here, and I grabbed a sponge. Here's my glasses, and a knife for the gesso, nice sponge, some stencils. This here is just a craft mat so I can keep my desk from, my surface from getting full of paint. So I'm just going to lay that down really quick. This here is the journal cover that I'm going to use. It was just an envelope from Amazon, and it was close. It had two pieces. I cut it apart, so there's two sizes like this, and I figured by folding it, it's a good size for a journal. So I wanted to cover it, so I put some gesso on it, just some of this just really cheap dollar and roundy gesso. Sorry, my brain just went blank. Gesso from Walmart. I've had this for years. It's like, it's cruddy, it's old, it's got a little bit at the bottom, so I just use it for projects like this. So yeah, so we're gonna try to get some color onto here. So I wanted this journal to be with pinks and whites and very pretty. It's going to be very lacy, very elegant. That's my whole idea for this journal. But there's only going to be, I think, just one signature. I think I'm just going to put one in. I might do two, but I'm thinking probably just the one signature. Just make it a small journal. I haven't had just like a one signature journal. So anyway, so I don't have any pink paint, but I got red and I got white, and as we know, red and white, maybe I should shake this, red and white makes pink. So I think for the outside I'm going to use this because it has less print and stuff on it. I ripped my address card off of it, but that's just the other side of it. But anyway, so I'm going to put it this way just to give me a little bit more room. So yeah, so just some red paint, a little bit of red paint. I'm going to mix enough so I have enough to go throughout the whole, so I don't run out, because I hate mixing paints and then it's not the right colors. And should mix that one too. These are old, haven't used these in a long time, and these are just like deco art paint that you can get at the dollar store, the Dollarama. These are pretty old. I don't even know. I probably have had these for 10 years or so, and they're still going. So if you want fluid paint, they're not the best paint. They're not you know, I wouldn't paint a masterpiece with these without sealing it, I guess, with some good sealer, so at least it sticks, it stays around for a while. Your efforts aren't gone in vain. So I'm just going to mix this with the knife really quick and see what colors, what pink I have. I put way too much red. That's coming up as like hot pink. That is not the color that I wanted, but I do want like a dirtier paint. So I'm going to put a little bit of brown in it and see what muddy pink I can come up with. Just a little tiny bit, not much. And see if I can tone down that pink a little bit. Yeah, that's much better. Much better. This is like more of a vintage pink, like I think Tim Holtz will call this like a worn lipstick paint color. And this is just cinnamon brown. I don't even know. This was just a brown I picked up that I figured would go good to grunge it up and make it a little bit more vintage. But yeah, I think that color will do. So, I'm using a dry sponge. Normally I would use a little bit of damp sponge, but this one I wanted to use a dry sponge because I really want the holes of the sponge to show up and make this really textured is my whole idea. So I'm just, you know, randomly putting some paint on here with the sponge. Nothing major. You guys can have probably done this a million times with a sponge. Not reinventing the wheel here or anything like that. Just getting some texture on it. And I'm going to go in with some brown too and some more white over at top. And I don't want this to be 100% pink. And this has got like a bubble wrap thing in, or bubble whatever in it, in between the layers of paper. So it's not smooth. It's not a smooth piece of paper. It's kind of crinkly. So I'm going to add some brown. And I'm just going to pick this up on my sponge and just kind of mix it in right here and just add some texture. Now I'm kind of getting a hard line here. This is a square. I'm just going to rub it out. Don't want the hard line. This is it's like a kitchen sponge, so I'm just going to fold it like this so I can kind of rock it and see if I get a better pattern. And like I said, I'm just going to mix that with some pink and add some texture. And I'm going to go back over this with white. And you know what, if this doesn't turn out the way I wanted to, it's going to have a cover. It's going to have more things on top of it, so I'm not really too concerned with it. Okay, let's flip this over. Maybe some more brown paint. I was going to use some inks on this, but I didn't want to change my clothes. To be honest, I was kind of lazy. So I figured, well, paint it is. That's kind of getting some darkness. Put some more pink over it to kind of push it back, because I don't want that brown to be that prominent. The whole idea is for it to be pretty, not just grungy. But it's going to be a little bit grungy. Grungy pretty. I don't even know if that's a thing, but we're going to make it a thing. We're going to try anyway. So, like I said, just alternating from the brown and the pink. Nothing major. And let's flip that over. Let's get a little bit more brown on this side. Get some more. Now, I'm going to let this dry for a minute or two, and I'm going to get some white paint, and I'm going to try to dry brush over this to try to push this back a little bit more. I might need to use the Jessup for it, but we're going to try with the white, and I'm going to add some pink to this as well. Let's do a little bit of pink and more white. There we go. Try to get that back, push it back some. And I'm still going to stencil over this, so this is only the first layer, guys. This is not the way this is going to turn out at all. First layers. And I just realized that my heat gun is not plugged in. So forgot what color I was doing here. Some more white, some pink. I'm going to pause the video in just a sec and grab my heat tool so I can dry this really quick for you guys, so we don't have to wait forever for this. You guys don't have to wait. So we're gonna, here we go. That's already turning out really pretty. I don't know if the camera's picking up how pretty that's getting, but it is definitely turning pretty in my book. It's all going to be elegant in the end. That's the whole idea. Okay. And I'm just kind of lightening up the corners because I just kind of want that to have a little bit of, normally we're grunging up the corners. This one I'm trying to lighten them up a little bit. So, okay, so I'm going to pause the video really, really quick. I'm going to go run and get the heat gun, and I'll be right back, guys. Sorry about that. So I'm back. So what I did is I just, I dried this off camera, just because that way you didn't have to listen to the sound of that thing. It almost sounds like a hair dryer, so saves you from doing that. So this is nice and dry, and like I said, I wanted to try to dry brush some white paint onto that. That's where I left, and I'm going to use, I don't know, this is kind of, yeah, maybe I'll use this one. You know what, maybe I'll use the gesso, because gesso is more opaque. It doesn't have that translucency the same as this watered down. I just need a little bit. Okay. Let's see if I can get this dry. If that's even doing anything. I'm not a big fan of this brush. There we go. So yeah, I just want to push this back a little bit. I am going to, like I said, I'm going to stencil. I'm going to put some stamping on here. And different textures to try to bring this cover to life a little bit. Doesn't quite look like much as we speak, but it will by the time we're done with it. That's the whole idea anyway. Hopefully. Oh my goodness. Okay. I just wanted to get some more white on there, but that's pretty good for now. And I am going to dry this really quick. I'm sorry guys, just really, really quick so I can get the next step on it. This is one of those Tim Holtz heated craft tool things. It's not as loud as a hairdryer because I used to use a hairdryer, so but the hairdryer blows air, like air, stronger air, I guess. This is just heat, more heat than air. I don't know how to explain that, but if that makes any sense whatsoever. So there we go. I'm going to use a stencil. This one's I found at the thrift store, and really I'm just looking for some swirlies and things like that to go in it with the thicker gesso. I'm not really having any rhyme or reason to what I want to do. I don't want it like be perfect is where I was going with that. So I'm just going to take some of this heavy gesso. I don't know how long this stuff takes to dry. Well, maybe with the heat tool it won't take so long. So I normally, you could use molding paste. I don't have any. I know there's lots of videos on how to make your own modeling paste on the internet, but yeah, so I'm just going to use the heavy body gesso just to kind of fill in these cracks, and I'm just going to do it randomly. I don't really want, like I said, I don't want a solid pattern. I just kind of want it here and there, and I'm just going to scrape the excess off so I don't have so much extra, because I am going to have to go clean this stencil when I'm done. Gesso will fill up your stencil cracks and you don't want that, so just run over some water, some soapy water, and yeah. So I'm just going to put this in a couple areas. Nothing, like I said, nothing, no rhyme or reason, just kind of getting it on to add some texture here or there, and filling in the stencil with this. And I think maybe a little bit more here. And maybe a bit more in this swirl here. Okay. So we're done with that. And I'm going to pick the stencil straight up. Okay. And maybe not really. It's very uniform. So let's stick this over here a little bit. And get a couple of swirls over here. let's get a couple swirls over here, just kind of fill in this space. There's gonna be, like I said, there's gonna be lots of lace and things on here, but I don't really want it to be noticeably not there. For the texture. And let's move this around, turn it around, and do the same thing over here. I think it's just the way the stencil is, and try not to put it in my paint, because that is also a thing right now. Right there. So this is how not to do a stencil. I'm tripping. This is the reality, guys. This is the struggle. This is the fun. This is the mess. This is all that. Okay. So I'm done with that stencil. I'm going to get that over there. And I do have one more. It's a stencil that I actually has smaller swirls. Get it out here. Uh-oh, what did I do? What happened? It's stuck on another one. Well, am I jumping? Oh, there we go. Okay, this little tiny stencil. You get little swirls in with this. And flip this over. Maybe a swirl in here, and maybe a swirl in here. This is a much thinner stencil, so I'm not using as much gesso with this one. I don't need to fill in the space, so it'd be nice for dimensional here. There we go. And let's see what else I can stick one maybe here. And really, I think that's good enough. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to pause the video again, dry this so you guys don't have to listen to that noise, and I'll be right back, guys. Okay guys, I'm back. This is all dried. Well, it's dried enough anyway for me to continue, I guess, on my mission. But yeah, so this is just, like I said, this is just some heavy gesso, and it's a little bit raised just to give it a little bit of texture. Nothing major. I'm going to water down some of this paint because it's starting to dry here. And I do want to get this as runny as possible, because I do want like kind of like a dripping effect that's gonna run down on the page with this color. I hope I don't ruin it, but you know what, if we do, it's only paper. I have another half, so if so, well, you guys will never know if I ruined it, because it will never be on here. So I'm just gonna lift this up and just kind of drip this going on the top. I think it needs more water. Maybe some water on here a little bit. Get that to move. Nope, more water. Like I said, this might ruin everything on here, but I don't think. Just want it to drip down from the top. Is all I'm really looking to do. And spray this and get it to run. I'm using paint because I want it to be I don't want it to be I want it to be waterproof when it's done. It's just acrylic paint, right? So, and let's try to get it to go down this way. Kind of like an ink situation, but with paint, and some more paint going in here, some more running. There we go, catches the water. Just trying to break up some of this sponging is really what I'm looking to do, because it is kind of, here we go. You guys may not see really what this effect is doing to it as well as it should, but it's looking much better. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with the brown, is have some streaks of brown going down there. Actually, yeah, a little bit. This is where it might go all sideways, guys. Gotta mix some of that pink with the brown so it's not straight brown. Okay, let's see what we can do. Get down the spine. And at the top, get the water running. Get the water, get this more color, more pigment in here, and get it to run the opposite way. There we go. Get it to run down. This is just adding a little bit more grungy to it. And cover up some of these raised areas. Oh, that so it's not dry. Or I reactivated it. That could be. Careful not to reactivate gesso, guys. Lisa, mixed media. I'm no professional, but I know I can play with this stuff, and it does something. So sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. Some more brown coming down here. Okay. Ah, there goes the bottom. And try to get it to tip towards the bottom. Do you see it's getting more grungier and paint starting to pool? I'm liking that a little bit better. It's not so perfect. So I'm going to dry this really quick, so I'll bring it back. Okay guys, I'm back. This is all dried. I did add some more paint as I was drying just to get it a little bit more grungy. It's not 100% dry. I just noticed. I thought I must not have touched that area, but it's good enough, I think, for today, for now anyway. So I did get some inks out. So I have some sepia and some potting soil, so 2 little browns. I just want to do a little bit of background stamping, nothing major. I shouldn't do that in there. Just to add a little bit more depth. A little bit more something just for the background, because you know we're always, let's see, getting the same pattern. So when you're getting the same pattern, try to roll your stamps. You get a different pattern each time when you do that. So I'll do that color, and I have just a diamond print. These are dilution stamps, I believe. Yeah, dilution stamps. And just going to do a little bit of stamping in the coffee color, sorry, potting soil color. And yeah, just to add a little bit of something. A little bit of something. And I just have this script stamp as well now. I'm debating if I should put a little bit of black in here just to make it pop out, or maybe with this potting soil. Maybe we'll do this. Let's see. Yeah, potting soil was the way to go. I think black would have stood out a little too much. And like I said, just kind of filling in spaces, just to add a little bit more interest. And I'm not caring if it goes over these swirly things at all, because those swirly things are going to have more things added to them. There. Just some little bit more texture pieces on that. Okay. So I also found some of this. It's metallic cream rose gold. I have rose gold. It comes in different colors. This is a Mystique turquoise, age bronze, and rose gold. This is actually what I had put on the the frames from the impresslet. This is what I had rubbed on it. But I'm going to try the rose gold because I don't usually use rose gold. And I think rose gold will look nice on here. And see, it's like just a cream. A little goes a long way with this stuff. So I wanted to rub this on these and have them stand out a bit. Well, stand out and push back, I guess. It's going to do two different things. Because I didn't want them to be really white, but I'm not really... Yeah, I think it's going to work right. Once everything's on it, I think we'll be okay. So I'm just going to rub over these spots, and it just kind of enhances them a little bit more. And just so see, the paint isn't quite dry. And it grunges it up a little bit more. I'm going to put some in different areas too, not just on those. Oh, I gotta wait till it dries. That part right there is not dry. I'm going to make a mess if I keep on trying to do over it. Okay. I don't know if there's a better way. Maybe a sponge. I wonder if a sponge has more control over these. I'm not sure, but nope, that one's too is not dry. Maybe I should wait a little bit longer for this to dry before I decide to put this cream on. I think it's just the thicker, really thick areas is what it is. Just enhancing those. Well, I hope everybody's having a good day. I've been trying to get my craft room up to par and everything put away and organized, and I'm sure as everybody else on my channel has been trying to do with their craft rooms. It seems like it's a never-ending battle, but I feel like I'm winning for now until, you know, the next round of shopping, I guess, and then you're like, oh, now where do I put that stuff? Because, you know, more and more and more. But yeah, anyway, so I've been doing that. The weather has been really, was nice a couple days last week, but has been really not very nice this week. We've definitely needed some rain, though. There's been so many forest fires here locally and in Nova Scotia that we definitely need some rain, or they need some rain. Well, we do too, because New Brunswick is also under a fire ban. So I'm just going to put a little bit more on these edges too. Just add a little bit of something, grunge it up. I wanted, like I said, I didn't want this to be super nice and pretty. It's going to be pretty, the stuff that's going to go on top of it. This is just to give it some color and some texture. And yeah, so it's getting there. Now, I think, I don't know if I'm going to do any more to it. I was thinking about doing some more gessoing on top, some dry gesso, but we're going to see. Let's try it. Like I said, you can't ruin it because it's only paper, and if something happens and it doesn't turn out well, you know what? I got more paper, so don't worry about it. Stressless crafting is, that's what I'm all about, stressless crafting. So let's try to get a little bit of gesso. I don't want a lot, just want to go back and push it back a little bit. It seems like it's a process, but in the end it will look very nice with all the layers. Just remember when you're doing art, it's all about layers. And you know what? There's always an ugly stage in everything. And that being said, in painting, acrylic painting especially, there's definitely an ugly stage. And if you give up during your ugly stage, well, you'll never paint. That's what I learned. So when it's ugly, or when you feel it's ugly, keep on going. it will get better. There, I'm going to back that up a little bit. There, and I think that, I'm going to call that done for the front cover. Getting that all covered. So, it's very metallic-y. Clean this up. If you guys are, oh, just a little tidbit of information. I believe it's Tim Holtz. I don't know if it's Tim Holtz or what's it? Ranger. They came out with the craft mats, and I believe that they're the same as these craft mats, which is just a silicone mat. Not a silicone. I don't even know what this is. Well, it's a baking sheet is what it is. You put this, it's a liner. You put this on your cookie sheets, and it's nothing sticks to it. So, you know, this is dry, well, was dry, not dry paint, but this is dry paint, and literally just wipes off with a wet rag. So Tim Holtz is, or Ranger, I'm not even sure, is selling these craft mats. I think they're $20 for a craft mat, which is absolutely crazy. I paid $1 for this at like a discount store, and it's just in the cooking aisle. You just wash it and put it back down. Paint, sticky things, all that. There is with this glass mat, there comes a another mat that kind of sticks to it, but I never took it off the glass mat when I was cutting one day, and I ended up cutting into it, and now it's all flippy floppy and it drives me insane, so I don't use it. But this will only cost me $1, so hello. Why would you go spend $20, guys? We're crafty. We can make this. So there's the front of the cover, guys. It doesn't seem like much, but this is going to be the start of the journal that I'm going to be creating, because I'm going to show you really quick what is going to go on the top of this that I had created the other day. And I didn't do a video of it because I'm not a seamstress. I don't sew. I'm just learning to play with my sewing machine, and my friend Jen would be so happy for me because, you know, she's a seamstress. That's what she does. She sews for a living. I just have a little brother sewing machine, and my boyfriend always jokes with me saying I only sew paper. So I decided to make a purse, a lace purse the other day, and of course I didn't video it because, like I said, I'm not a seamstress. But anyway, with all the scraps, because I'm trying not to have, I'm trying to do like scrapless crafting, you know what I mean? Because we store so much stuff, and the more that I was doing my craft room, like, okay, well, I need a place to store this, and I need a place to store that, and I need a place to store, well, instead of storing it, why aren't I using it, like, to be fair? So I have, I had a bunch of scraps from when I was making this purse, this lace purse, and I didn't want to throw them away, and I figured, well, you know what, let's make something out of them. So this, I'm just going to put this to the side, and then I'll show you what the purse is going, or sorry, the journal, the reason why I'm doing this colors is for the journal that I'm making, was the things that I made out of the scraps. So if that makes any sense at all. So anyway, so this is what I had made out of scraps, and I figured this was all going to go in the garbage, and there was no sense for all these scrap pieces to go in the garbage when I'm a junk journaler and I can make things out of it. So I made quite a few things out of it, actually. So this here is going to be the topper. I don't want to put it on here, but for this, it's still wet, so I don't really want to put it on. But do you guys see? This is going to be so pretty on here, I believe. And I love the lace. I made this little lace flower. This was just an old earring. I got it, I think, at Salvation Army. I think it was a set of 2. So I just cut the back of it, glued it down. This is just 2 doilies. So I sewed, this was the original doily, and I didn't like this pink that was in the middle. This was like a hot pink. But this pink on the edge was like that worn lipstick pink. So I sewed a regular crochet doily in the middle of this to cover it up, And these were just the strips of fabric. I just cut them and some lace that was left over. So I just sewed that together, bunched some lace together here, and that's going to be the topper of that journal. And I think that's going to look so pretty together. So anyway, so there's that. So I'm going to get rid of that and put that to the side. So, of course, I also made this snippet roll out of some of the little tiny pieces. Like, do you see how small that is? That's like an inch. This little piece here, 1/2 inch. So these were all just little tiny pieces. I just kind of glued them down with my glue stick, and I waited for it to dry before I sewed it. So I went with my needle, and then I just kind of sewed it zigzagged all the way up and down. So just on a piece of fabric, and now I have a snippet roll that I can finish embellishing for that journal. And of course, and then I made this belly band. Look at that stuff. This just little belly band out of all the little scraps, and I even took the little strings and twined them all up like little bird's nest kind of things and stuck them on there, and that's just on a piece of paper or a piece of cardstock, and that will be a nice little belly band for that journal. And I also made a bunch of little clusters. This is what had started it, because I figured, well, there's enough pieces that I could definitely make clusters out of. And I can put them paper clips on the back if I wanted to stick in the journal, or I can use them as further embellishments for the journal, whichever. But this is definitely going to go in that journal because look how pretty that's going to be together. So there's those, all scraps, guys. So when I ended up throwing out for the journal, for the scrap, sorry, was literally little tiny threads, and I think it was less than like a little piece, like less than that I threw out in the end. So this is what would have been thrown out, and that's not what was thrown out. So anyway, I was able to create a few things, and this here, I figured this could just be like a little clip to put on the spine of the journal and just have little dangly frills hanging off the spine of the journal. That was some beads even. I didn't put any beads in here. Did I put any beads in this one? No, I didn't put any beads in this one either. I could have put some string of pearls or anything like that with this, but so this was the set that I made from the scraps from the purse that I made. So I am dealing with this as no scraps crafting or no trash, yeah, I don't know how to say it, but anyway, I got all that out of the scraps, guys. So what's the point of holding on to your scraps when you can make all this? I'll put this in a bag, and even if I'm making other things, doesn't mean even if it doesn't go in a journal right away, I can still create this, put this in a bag, and when I get to the journal that I want to create, add it then. So yeah, guys, so just think, those little tiny pieces, like look how small that is. That's just like my thumb. So yeah, this little tiny piece, just sew them down, glue them a little bit and sew them down to something substantial, and you got something that goes with your journal because it's all in the same colorway. So anyway, that's it, guys. So that's my first video for the journal cover, and I know it's not totally done, but I have to wait for it to dry, and I don't think I'm going to keep on working on it for right now. I will work on it again probably tomorrow. So watch out for video 2, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks for joining me. Happy crafting and happy creating. Bye-bye.